Today I'm sharing what I've been selling on Poshmark and eBay, as well as what I've been thrifting to sell on Poshmark and eBay at the Goodwill Outlet. All right, I'm gonna take you back in time to this past weekend where I was at the Goodwill Outlet in Northeast Portland and had a, I would say, decent thrift trip. First item I picked up at the bins on this day was this LL Bean made in the USA flannel shirt. And I really like to pick up LL Bean when it is made in the US. It's typically of higher quality, and I know it's a vintage piece, can do pretty well. This was a pair of Gymshark bike shorts, and this is not a brand I expect more than $25 or so for, but for me it sells pretty well. I did check on the inside on the thigh area where their care tag and size tag usually are, but probably 8 times out of 10 somebody cuts that out, so it was not there. This was a Wilfred bodysuit, jumpsuit, full length, flare leg bodysuit, I would say. And these can do very well. The brand is Wilfred, so this is from Aritzia, which is a brand I actually pass on a lot, but this style, especially with the flared leg, can do very well and has actually done very well for me pretty recently. And then this is a Viore top, which is a very good bread and butter brand. It's sometimes even more than bread and butter, but when I pick it up, I know it will flip in a pretty quick amount of time usually. It doesn't take too long, and I'm always really happy to see that brand can do very well. This was another brand I'm usually pretty happy to see, Patagonia. This was a pair of men's swim shorts, nylon shorts, size large, and Patagonia is a brand I love to pick up at the bins if it's in good condition and a decent style. Even though that one's out of season, it will eventually still sell. And then this was a Lululemon hoodie, and I saw actually the brand on the aglet there at the end of the draw cord or string, and that's how I actually found out what that item was while I was looking through the bins. I didn't see the logo right away, didn't have the rip tag on the back of the neck, so that aglet is a really great place to look on a piece like a Lululemon hoodie or a pair of track pants. Anything that will have, the branding on that aglet there. And then this was a fun little Halloween decoration that I found with some skeletons throwing up the deuces. And I was actually really excited to come across this Tory Burch handbag. I thought it was beautiful and kind of a cherry on top of a maybe not as exciting thrift trip. Looked to be in really good condition both on the outside and the inside. And I actually could spot in this video just now where the flaw was, but when I first found it and looked it over, I did not see it, which I am kind of shocked by because it ended up being a pretty big flaw, but I actually ended up buying it. And then as I was putting my items from my cart into my reusable bag, after I'd already paid, I noticed how worn the side was. The leather was just super peely and just completely shredding coming off. So I ended up actually leaving it at the bins. I just did not want to even bring it home and have all of that peely stuff just everywhere. And knowing it just wasn't going to sell as I thought it would, knowing that it had that major flaw, I just decided to cut my $2 loss. But I was just so frustrated that 1, it didn't end up being in as good of condition as I thought it was originally, and 2, that I didn't notice that until I actually bought it. So yeah, reminder, check things twice, 3 times. And just make sure they're actually in good condition before you spend money on them. I mean, it's lower risk at the bins, you're not spending as much, but still, that is your hard-earned money that you don't want to waste. And anyways, I was bummed about that, but we move on, and luckily I had a really good thrift trip a couple days later that we are gonna hop into right now. So this was actually on Sunday, yesterday, at the Goodwill Outlet in Southeast Portland, and this is a bins location that I've actually had really bad luck at a lot of times, so I wasn't that excited to go, but decided to go and was very glad I did. So this was a pair of men's Lululemon pants. They are sort of a chino style pant, definitely not an athletic wear pant like you usually see with Lululemon, but men's Lulu can do super well. Then this was a Anthropologie sweater that actually was called Meadow Rue, was the brand. And from what I could tell on the Anthropologie website, this brand isn't actually sold there anymore, but that sweater was beautiful. I looked up comps, it was only around 20 bucks, so I did end up leaving it. But let me know if you've ever heard of Meadow Rue before and if you've ever sold that brand. All right, and then this was a Taylor Swift official merch Eras Tour hoodie. And I checked on the inside, you know, where the tag is. It's actually a printed on label for those official Taylor Swift merch items. So if that were something that was just a, obviously normal sweatshirt that somebody just printed that on, I would have left it. I did make sure it was official merch before I picked it up, because official Taylor Swift merch can sell pretty well, and I'm expecting that to sell probably around $40, maybe $50. Then this is a brand I've never found, I've only heard of, and that is Varley. So this is a quarter zip pullover. It was such a nice, soft performance material. I could just immediately tell when I touched it that it was something a little higher quality and just made very well. So that's a brand that I'm excited to try out and see how it does. The comps looked pretty good. I'm expecting 50-ish, 60 for that. This is a Bowden cardigan sweater, and I have not found this newer Bowden tag yet, the newest label that they have. So I know this is a newer piece, and it's a really nice long line cardigan sweater that I'm very excited to list, which is not the case for a lot of Bowden items. I actually pass on that brand a lot. Then this is a brand I really don't find much. It's Legence, and this is a pair of pull-on, ribbed, wide leg lounge pants. Super comfy, very long, kind of baggy, and we'll see how that does. But that was a brand I was definitely excited to find in the bins for sure. And then speaking of brands I was very excited to find in the bins, this is a Burberry London full zip hoodie that does have a little bit of stain, some stains going on in the front that I'm very confident I can get removed once I use a little stain remover and throw it in the wash. It had the Novacek print along the seams, which is a really quick telltale sign that it's a Burberry item. Even those more casual pieces can do very well. I've sold at least 1 or 2 of those before and they have performed very well. So I am expecting like 80, 90 plus for that, and as long as I can get the stains out, but that should be a very good sale. And then this brand I actually do not know how to say, and I am not going to even try on this one. I'm just going to put it up on the screen here, but I couldn't even read the tag very well. It's in cursive, kind of hard to read. And then on the care tag where it has the website is where I was able to read the print. But this was a brand I had never heard of before. I could just feel the quality. It looked really nice with the color blocking, looked high quality, and I looked into it and it seems like this item should be, again, 50, 60, maybe 70 bucks. It's 100% wool, excellent condition, great style, unique features with the color blocking and the, I guess, long line V-neck kind of aspects. So that should do very well, and I'm excited to see how it does, how quickly it sells and all that. Then a tried and true, a very classic, always happy to find pair of Lululemon leggings, and these did not have the rip tag, so I looked in the little pocket to find the size dot, and those are a size 4. So those are the Wonder Under leggings that I will definitely be excited to list. Then this is a Aloe men's performance athletic workout shirt. Men's Aloe does very well, so I'm always excited to see it. And then this is a brand I truly love so much to come across, and that is Aviator Nation. And it has the spell out along the leg, which I think is actually a really great feature, nice and sellable. So it does have that stain on the front. That'll probably decrease the price a tiny bit if I can't get it out, but the spell out should actually help that price a little bit. So that is fantastic, and I'm very happy to come across that brand every single time. Now I'm going to share what I've been selling on eBay and Poshmark over the last, I think, week or so. 10 days is what it's looking like. And I've got 8 items here, which I think is right around my sales lately. It's like one a day or so. Maybe one every other day, maybe 2 or 3 in one day and none the next day. It varies, but I would say on average I'm probably selling like an item a day is probably about where I'm at as far as like how much I'm actually selling, just in case you were wondering. All right, first I have this pair of Lululemon women's size 14 Wonder Under leggings, and these sold on eBay for $23. With these being a cropped length, that did, in my opinion, bring the price down just a little bit. I really never expect cropped leggings to perform as well or sell for as much as a full length or even a 7/8 length legging, but still did pretty well, I would say, and sold in 9 days. Then the next item is one I actually shared in my what's not selling on Poshmark video that I posted probably like 4 or 5 weeks ago now. And in that video had made some adjustments to some listings that were not selling. And for this one in particular, I didn't adjust the cover photo, I didn't adjust the price. All I did was adjust the title to add in a few better keywords. and I'm very happy to say that it is actually sold now. So that is great. So this is a Tory Burch sweater that sold for $28 on Poshmark, and the keywords that I added in were chevron, boho chic, luxury, and designer. I think I added in both luxury and designer. I might have had one of those already, but definitely added in chevron and boho chic, and ended up selling a few weeks later for $28. I had it listed at $35, and then I used Prime Lister as my Poshmark automation, which automatically sends out 20% off offers to likers. And so it sold for $28, but really great sale that I just needed to do a little adjusting on the title and keywords to help it become a bit more visible and, you know, reach the right buyer. So really happy to finally have sold that. Let's see how long. That was listed for 1,036 days. So it was certainly time to get the item moved out. The next is a very niche brand that I had never heard of, and I don't think I've ever found since, but it is called Northwest Alpine. And I found this pullover, like athletic workout, very thin performance top in the bins, and decided to list it. It's super lightweight, added barely any weight to my total at the bins. So ended up picking it up, listed it at $21, sold it for $16, and that one took a while. It took 551 days, so I don't think I will be picking that brand up anymore. I mean, not that I've found it since, so it's not like I'm passing on it actively, but if I were to come across it, I think I probably would leave it. But, you know, hey, sometimes it is fun just to try a new brand, and those niche brands can do very well depending what they are and how big the audience is for it. Next is this Anthropologie Sydney balloon sleeved sweater, which sold for $15 on Poshmark. That one did take 225 days, so it was sitting for just a little while there, and left me with right around $10 in total profit once it did sell. All right, and then I've got a couple back-to-back pretty good ones that I was very happy with. So this is a Polo Ralph Lauren men's large rugby shirt. It had an embroidered skull detail. I used preppy and long sleeve as some keywords. This was a very, very, very fast flip. It took me like a week or two, probably like 2 weeks to finally get this listed for some reason. And then when I did get it listed, it sold the same exact day. So definitely good to get your items listed. Don't be like me. Definitely be on the lookout for those rugby style shirts. Polo makes some great ones, and people are on the lookout for them. So I had it listed at $65 and went a little bit back and forth with the buyer. We landed at $50, and I got that moved right on out. And this one was exciting for me personally because not only was it a very good flip, but it is a vintage Portland Timbers hat, which is the Major League Soccer team here in Portland. So I go to a lot of Timbers games. I love going to them. And so anyway, this was a fun flip for me, but this is a Portland Timbers vintage 80s hat, and it was corduroy, flat bill, Kelly green. Those were some keywords I used. I listed it at $150, and it sold for full asking price on eBay to, of course, a local Oregonian, someone who I'm sure loves the Timbers and was willing to spend $150 on a vintage 80s Timbers hat. So pretty cool. It was in excellent condition. Just knew when I saw it that I needed to pick it up. Definitely was not expecting a full asking price sale on this, but those are always welcomed, and I am certainly happy when that does happen. The next up was this pair of Somersault high-rise full-length floral leggings. I came across this brand in the thrift store, decided to give it a shot. It sold for $24, so you know, nothing bad there. It's still a pretty good little flip. And that left me with around $18 in total profit. Took a while to sell, so I wouldn't necessarily say be on the lookout for this brand. Took 542 days, but I would maybe pick it up again, especially if it were like a performance jacket or something. Could maybe do a little bit better. Or maybe the print wasn't that exciting and great. I'm not really sure. You never really know why an item sits for a long time. I mean, sometimes you can make guesses, but it's just sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's hard to always pinpoint the exact reasons, but you can make your guesses and kind of speculate. Then the last item that sold for me actually today was this Fjallraven backpack, and it was a really good heritage urban gorpcore sort of a style with this waxed fabric. And not only did this item sell for $50 within 2 weeks, but it did get a lot of attention on both Poshmark and eBay. Had some watchers on eBay, a lot of likes on Poshmark, so that's usually a pretty good indication that it'll sell pretty quickly. And every time I have found and sold this brand, it has done very, very well. So it's a good one to be on the lookout for. Just keep your eye out for that little fox logo and consider yourself lucky if you do find it. But that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a very good rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.